DNA is found in the genes of our cells. They call this a double helix pattern. It kind of spins around itself and wraps around. These are our genes in here, where they're connected together. And we have what's called dominant genes and recessive genes. The dominant gene is, if we look up here at this Punnett square, they're the ones with the capital letters. And they can be representing anything. Say we have the dominant gene is going to be a black fur in a bunny rabbit, and the recessive gene is a white fur. If we have, and let's make them F's for fur. If we made a Punnett square over here, and we draw a little square. If we had mama rabbit over here is capital F and a lowercase f, and then we had daddy rabbit was also capital F and lowercase f. What we have here is we have the dominant gene with mama rabbit and the recessive gene. So mama rabbit's going to be black furred because whenever that dominant gene shows up, that's what's called the phenotype. The phenotype is phenotype. It's the physical appearance. It has the gene for the white fur, but it's not going to show up because as long as that dominant trait is there, that's what's going to show up. So we had a black furred mama rabbit, and we also have a black furred daddy rabbit because it also has the dominant trait there. But when they have their offspring, these traits split up and they come back together, and it's how nature tries things out. And we just combine the two letters wherever they cross. In this case, I got a capital F and a capital F. So I have what's called a homozygous dominant trait. Homo will be used for one. In physical science class, we talk about homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures, where homogeneous, it looks like one thing, like milk or glue or paint, where heterogeneous is you can see two or more different things. Heterogeneous mixtures would be like Chex Mix or jelly beans that are different colors. And so this would be, since they're both capital letters, this would be homozygous for the dominant trait. Right here we have the capital and the lowercase, so we have a heterozygous traits where we have one of each. There's a mixture there, so two or more heterozygous, and then down here as well we have the capital and the lowercase. We're going to always put the capital letter first if it's there. All right. So again, we have a heterozygous, and then over here we have lowercase and lowercase. So we're going to put lowercase and lowercase. That's going to be homozygous, but in this case, it's homozygous recessive. This is the only time that recessive gene can show up is when it's not there with a dominant gene. All the other ones, it's there with a capital F, or in this case, there's two capital Fs. So all these bunny rabbits are going to have dark fur, but the only time that recessive one shows up is right here. And so if we had a heterozygous mama rabbit with a heterozygous daddy rabbit, the chances of it having a white furred baby rabbit, even though both of them were black furred, is about 25%. On average, about 25% of the offspring, even though we had two black furred parent rabbits, is going to be about 25%. Genetic engineering, cloning is an example of one. We also use genetic engineering for food. You might have seen about GMOs, genetically modified food. It's not always a bad thing. Genetically modified food gives us much larger tomatoes or much riper tomatoes. They give us things like watermelons without seeds in them. They also have some crops that, oddly enough, can secrete things that keep pests away, their own little pesticides. So there are lots of ways where we do genetic engineering. Cloning is one of them. It's one of the more exciting fields. It's one day we might have a clone of maybe a woolly mammoth or a mastodon, being able to clone those. We've already done sheep. We've done certain types of plants as well. And so this is where the future is going. Genetic engineering. It's an exciting field in the next few decades where this leads to, and it's all based on what you're looking at right here today on the slide.